Welcome to Tropic Thunder Thursdays. There we go.
I just made an Instagram story that was like, listen, I'm convinced that nobody does a show better than these two. It literally, I am so jazzed. I literally, every time I'm on here, I'm like, this is actually a party.
It is a party. Hey, we're Hispanics. We gotta got that music that moves on, and we gotta, it's a stage.
There we go.
We know you got the salsa moves. Yes.
Yeah, I know. I've been holding out on you guys. I know. I gotta have a few secrets. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
Those are hooks for next time, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, I keep trying to see how many times I can get invited back onto the show. You know, I got 3 so far. I don't know what my magic number is, but I'm going big.
Hey, it's so good. We're debating if we should have like a third host in the show. You are leading the competition. You're just throwing that out there.
You're leading the charge there, Kathryn.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes to all of it about.
So for those watching right now, we got this email and message from Kathryn last week, and she's like, guys, I have like this amazing thing that I want to share with everybody. Can I come there? I'm like, we absolutely. Like anything that you share, it's going to be amazing. And we can't wait because we're going to learn today. And the Tropic Thunder Thursdays topic that you actually started, it's for actionable tips. So I think like the mini master class that you're giving us now, I can't wait. So Kathryn, take it away. Tell us, what's the story? What happens?
How this whole thing started, honestly. So next week, so starting on Monday, I'm doing this free 5-day masterclass and workshop, and it's all about how to launch a 7-figure movement and become the #1 go-to expert in your niche. It's gonna be dope, right? But I was thinking before, I was like, okay, listen, I'm like doing a lot of hype and it's gonna be amazing on Monday, but I'm like, but who could I give a sneak peek to? Like, who are the people that I love that like we can give them a head start on everybody else? And so I'm writing this list. Biz Bros was at the top. I was like, one, I want to hang out. Then 2, cool people attract cool people, so we're just gonna make it happen. It's gonna be amazing. Anyway, so I was like, okay, I wonder if we could come like give them the inside scoop. So when they were like, come be on Tropic Thunder Thursday, I was like, freak, yes! Oh my gosh. So this whole thing, like how this came to be, like how to launch a 7-figure movement, become #1 go-to expert in your niche. It actually started because I'm really blessed. A lot of people asked me to be on their shows and their podcasts, and it kind of just got like a little bit too crazy. So we would decide to like batch them. So at least once a month, I'll go on like a huge press tour. Well, we'll do like 20 shows in a day, right? And you just like pound them out, and it's so fun.
So is your secret like coffee or like energy drink or just life itself?
I got water and I got a Quest bar. That's what we're rocking today.
Let's go.
But it was really fascinating. Like as I'm going on all these press tours, one of the questions that comes up all the time is like, who are you? Like I didn't even know you existed 3 months, 6 months, year ago. And then like, it's like, they're almost like annoyed. They're like, you're everywhere now. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know. But I love that question because the reason that happened, it wasn't like accident where it's like, oh, well, like a video of mine accidentally went viral, right? It was this like very intentional, strategic approach to become the #1 go-to expert in my niche. And so I think this whole thing started back in 2015. And at that point I had been like on my entrepreneurial journey for like a year-ish. Like I had just kind of discovered like, oh, you can like actually make money online. But I think I would consider myself at that point like an entrepreneur, like question mark, where I don't know if you guys like had this phase where it's like you're watching like a million webinars and you're like trying and you make like a few random like $100 here and there, but like you don't know what you're doing. It's like you don't know what you're selling, but you're like, but you're in it and you're like, I'm here and I'm not exactly sure what's happening.
You literally described the first 3 years of our lives.
Yeah, being there, done that.
Like, I don't know, like you sign up for everything and you're like buying 900 courses and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like right? And there's just this like there's like this thing in you, and it's like and it's almost annoying. You can't kill it, and it just is like telling you to like build, grow, and do. And so it's in 2015 that I'm like feeling this. I'm like, oh, I gotta get it out of me. I don't know what it is in me, but I gotta get it out of me. And at this point, I went to the movie theater with my family, and there's a movie called Joy that came out. Have you guys seen the movie Joy?
I have not.
It's definitely on our list now, so it's like I know.
Yeah,
I know you guys are busy taking over the world, but like we gotta make this top priority for you.
All right, let's do it.
And it's a true story. It's about this woman named Joy Mangano, and she's the one that invented the self-ringing mop. That's her gig. And it is crazy the opposition this comes again. It's like you're watching this movie and you're like, can't you just let a girl make a mop? Like, can you just let a girl make a mop? But it's nuts, you guys. It's crazy. Like, at one point, somebody tries to steal her patent, and then she has to double mortgage her house, and her family screws her over. And then you're like, oh my gosh, is she gonna make it? She like finally gets on QVC, and then it like bombs and it doesn't sell. And it's just, it's crazy, right? And so I am like resonant. It's 2015, and I'm at the entrepreneur stage of my life where I don't really know what's happening, but I just like feel it. Where it's like, I gotta do it. I gotta build something. And so like, as this woman is just struggling to get her thing going, like I am just like resonating with that so deeply. And I don't even realize, like, I just like keep like going like more and more and more on the edge of my chair. And I'm like, oh my God, girl. And so it gets to this point, you guys, at the end where there is like the biggest climax, and this dude is trying to steal her patent. He's trying to claim that he came up with this idea. And so she's going to go meet this man, and based on what happens in this meeting will determine everything, right? The trajectory of her whole life. And it is so stressful. It is literally so stressful, you guys. Oh my gosh. And you're just like, oh my gosh. So
I'm literally writing the name down because I'm like, that's my movie night tonight. Like that's happening.
Yeah. You will never be the same. You will never, like, literally, you're going to need emotional support. So just, you both have my number. Just call me, okay? Like, I am here for you. So literally, it's like at this like pinnacle point, and she's about to walk into the room, and I am so wrapped up in this. This woman's story is my story so much that I forget that I'm in a public place. God bless me, right? And what happens next? I'm not ashamed, but I'm not proud. Somewhere in between, right? Next thing that happens, also, I yell in the movie theater at the screen, and I literally am like, come on, you can do it. I literally yelled that. Oh my God. I'm sitting next to my sister. She's mortified, right? Like I have yelled this in the movie theater. She like takes her hand and like covers my mouth. She's like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm feeling a lot of feelings. I was like, I don't know. There's like a lot of things going on, right? So I think about that all the time. Where it's just like, I didn't know what was in me, but I had to get it out of me. Like I just had to get it out of me. Yeah. So then fast forward to about April, May of 2019 of last year, right? And this like version of like getting it out of me, there is still a version of that in me. And at that point, I had launched my program, CF Design School, right? And we had about like 200 people in there. And they are actually doing amazing. Like they're getting these epic results, but like people just aren't paying attention. And it's so frustrating, right? Because it's like my stuff works. Like if people just listen to me, then I can help them, but nobody is listening to me. Like,
we feel your pain, Kathryn. We feel it. Like, yes.
This is it's so real, right? And you're just like, gosh, dang it. And it's so frustrating for yourself too, because you're like, why? Like, why is this not hitting? Like, why is it not going? Because our stuff is good. And it was April, May of 2019. And that's where we're at. And I find myself sitting in this big internet marketing conference, and there's like 2,000 people in the crowd, and I'm one of the 2,000, right? And I'm just like sitting there. I remember exactly where I was sitting. I was in the middle back, and I'm sitting there, and nobody knows my name, nobody knows my product, and I'm watching on stage what my biggest competitor at the time, right? Biggest competitor. And they're on the stage. And the thing that stinks about this competitor, you guys, is they're actually phenomenal. Like, you can't even hate them, you know? Like, which makes it even more annoying, because it's like, you're so cool.
You're like, I hate you, but I love you. But I hate you, but I love you. You're so awesome.
And it's like, you deserve to be on there, right? And so it's like, and to this day, I don't have a single bad, I only have praise for this person. They are remarkable, right? Which again makes it worse. So I'm watching them on the stage, and not only are they extraordinary, but they're older than me, so they have decades more experience than me. They pushed millions of more dollars than me. They have tens of thousands of more followers than me. They're dropping their product name right and left on the stage, right? And they're backed by $1 billion company. And then there's me. And me at that point, right? I got 200 people, but on my team, it's me and it's one other girl who's working 10 hours a week. She's from the Philippines. And I'm kind of running out of money. It's like you're not dead yet, but like there's a runway, and the runway's getting shorter and shorter.
And you know it's coming. Like, you see it. It's like,
yes, where you're
right
like,
there.
We have got to make this work. Like, we've got to figure out how to make this thing hit. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. So again, I'm like watching this person on the stage who we love and hate, because you can't hate them. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And their business just seems like this machine, right? Just this well-oiled machine. So I'm sitting there, you guys, thinking, and this thought keeps going through my head over and over again. I'm like, how do you beat a machine? How do you beat a machine? How do you beat a machine? And I'm having this dialogue with myself. I'm like, I have no idea how to beat a machine. It's like, how do you beat a machine? How do you beat a machine? I'm just thinking. It's over and over and over again. And this is also wrapped up in like anxiety and like, can I do this? And what's going to happen? I've worked so hard, I put so much money into this, but is this gonna fail? Right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, something that I can only attribute to God, because what came next was just way too smart to come out of my head, right? All of a sudden, so clearly, this phrase comes to my mind, right? And I'm thinking the question, how do you beat a machine? How do you beat a machine? How do you beat a machine? And then again, so clearly, the phrase comes, you beat a machine with a movement. And I was like, I remember like, I don't know what you call it, it comes in my head, right? And I'm like, I don't really know what that means, but it felt smart. So I'm going to write it down, right? Okay. So it's like, how do you beat a machine? You beat a machine with a movement. So I'm like looking, this is actually the notebook. I'm like looking at this phrase, like you beat a machine with a movement. And I'm like, what does that mean? What is that? What is that? And so I'm like, okay, like, is there truth to that? Or is that just pretty, right? Is that just pretty or is that real? So I start thinking about, okay, you beat a machine with a movement. So I started looking at this word movement. I'm like, well, what's a movement? Like, what is that? And so also I have like all these examples start going through my head where it's like the civil rights movement in the United States, right? Where it's like Martin Luther King, I have a dream. Or the huge bus boycott with Rosa Parks during a similar time, right? Where literally hundreds of thousands of African Americans the next day stopped using public transportation. Yeah. One of the coolest things that ever happened, right? Or you have like Gandhi with his hunger strikes, or everything that happened with the Berlin Wall, or the Boston Tea Party, right? Where it's just like you're seeing all these movements that figuratively took down these machines, whether they were governments or ideologies or different people, right? And you're just like, what were they doing? Because they did it, right? They did it. Like, what was the theme? Like, what was the common denominator? And all of a sudden, I'm looking at this and I'm like, shoot. I'm like, what is a movement? A movement is simply a mass of people that are living the same story. They live the same story and they believe the same story. And what's so beautiful about that is that those live on, right? Like I Live a Dream is still alive today. That movement still exists today, right? Yeah. So beautiful. So I'm like, okay, well, how do you beat a machine? You beat a machine with a movement. How do you start a movement with stories, right? And stories that convert. Also, I'm like, Kathryn, you're an idiot, right? Like I actually like, I hate myself. Where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm looking at this product, Sea of Design School, where I literally, the definition of design hacking is how to present stories that convert. How do you present stories and exchange of information in a way that converts, change people from one form to another? And I'm like, freak. I'm like, I learned how to do this with funnels. I'm like, can you also do this with videos? Cool. And with copy and Facebook Lives and Instagram stories and stage, like, and can you do that? And at that point, it was a hypothesis. I was like, dude, I don't know, but I gotta try, right? Because it's like, I'm not gonna take down this competitor with money or accolades. Like, the only thing that I've got is I can build a movement behind me. So I literally leave that room, you guys, and I write down on my paper, #Operation Smoke 'em Out.
Yes.
Operation, where I'm like, listen, I can't even throw rocks at this person because they're amazing. I can't even bash them, right? They're so cool. So the only thing I can do is be so strategically loud and perpetuating the movement, the story of the movement, that nobody even knows that they exist. Yeah. We smoke them out of the room. They're dead, right? We smoke them out. And so I come back and I literally take everything that I'm doing in my company and I design hack it. I storify it, right? Where all of a sudden this product, this online course, Sea of Design School, wasn't just a course. All of a sudden we put a graduation at the end of it. So now all of a sudden people are living the story. Yep. And now, and again, like we could hardly get anybody to partner with us for a joint venture. We created a cool campaign behind it. And all of a sudden people are like, that's cool. I want to be a part of it. And we started regularly having 6-figure launches. Beautiful. Or before we were like trying to get the attention of these big name people, they're like, I don't care about you, right? And also we create a cool story arc and they start coming to us and they're like, what are you doing? And how can we become a part of that? And within a span of 6 months, literally went from a nobody sitting in the sea of 2,000 people to being asked to speak on some of the biggest internet marketing stages in the world. Nobody's doing partnerships with us, to regular 6-figure launches, turning our mentors not only into peers, but to clients, and having hardly any following to a 7-figure movement in 6 months. In 6 months, right? And I think, let's hear it for the sound thing.
Yes.
You guys, like, this is the thing.
But wait,
all of a sudden it's like,
there's more?
Yes, because this is where it's so exciting, right? Because all of a sudden, like, this is happening, and it's happening fast, and it's almost like a little bit shocking because it's like I've been in the game since 2014. Yeah. And like I've been trying to make this thing go, and then it finally went, right? And so it's like, well, we turned everything into stories, right? We started this movement, but why did that work? Why did it work more than like, we turned everything into a story, right? Like, why did it work?
Yeah.
And this is like the most profound truth that literally this changes the game. This is what helps the Davids beat the Goliaths. This is it. Is when you know how to design hack, when you know how to present stories that convert, then all of a sudden your stories become your customer stories. And when your stories become your customer stories, then your solutions become their solutions.
Beautiful.
Which means that epic competitor might still be on a stage somewhere, but they don't care about them. Even if they have more accolades, even if they have more experience, because they're thinking to themselves, they might be cool, but they don't know me. They don't know me like Kathryn knows me. They don't know me like Luis knows me.
Yep.
They don't get me. They don't understand me. So yeah, they might have something cool, but they're not my person. And all of a sudden, you start to get people that are so bought in because you are them and they are you. And you start this huge movement. And I think what's so fun is not only can you start some figure movement, but this is what propels you to become the number one go-to expert in your niche. Because to become the number one go-to expert, you not only need to have the skill set, but you need to have people believe that you're number one as well. There are a lot of people that are good at what they do, but nobody thinks they are, or nobody knows who they are. And when you become the number one go-to expert, guys, it's just so much better. First, you get paid like number one. And let me just tell you about it. It's so much more fun to get high 5, 6 figures for a funnel instead of like $300. It's just a better life, right? We're the second thing is that all of a sudden your competitors become irrelevant, right? They just literally don't care about them anymore because they're not that person. And then the third thing, and maybe the most fun, is that all of a sudden you start to build a tribe, not only of followers, right, that like and comment on your stuff, but a tribe of evangelists. And you think of the word evangelist, it's literally like a preacher, right? Somebody that literally shares your stuff all the time, because all of a sudden they're like, Biz Bros finally used the words that I've been trying to find. They're me. And they're sharing your video and you're like, guys, this is it. This is my story, right? And all of a sudden they're sharing stuff over and over again. So you have this evangelist. So now you're not the only one that cares about your brand. You're not the only one that cares if you win or not, because you have so many people's identities and stories wrapped up in what it is that you're building, which makes it so much more beautiful. And so again, going back to this like press tour thing, right? Where like people are like, who are you? Where did you come from? Right? Like that's the answer. That's what we did. And so I started to tell my team this, and they're like, oh my gosh, they get like super excited. They're like, let's turn this into a coaching program and like this huge event, like blah, blah, we can do all these things. They're like going. And they're just like super jazzed about it, because I mean, they're on behind the scenes doing it with me, right? They're like, this stuff's good. They know, right? And so they're like, let's turn in, like, it could be huge. We can make so much money and like, we'll change the world and blah, blah. And I'm just like kind of being quiet. And they're like, wait, Kathryn, you're in on this, right? And I just was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, guys, I can't do it. And they're like, what do you mean you can't do it? And I was like, I can't do a coaching program, not like that. And they're like, no, you don't understand. Look, we'll do this. I was like, guys, I can't. And they're like, why not? And I was like, because I can't charge for it. And at that point, I think they thought I had an aneurysm or something, right? They're like, what? Like a marketer saying they're not going to charge for something? Like what? And they're like, what do you mean you can't charge for it? I was like, I can't charge for it. And they're like, why? And I was like, 2 reasons. I was like, number one, for baby Kathryn.
Yeah.
For baby Kathryn that was yelling at the movie theater screen, right? That if only 2015 Kathryn, who had this thing inside of her that was burst out, right? If only she could know what 2020 Kathryn finally figured out, it would have changed the trajectory of everything. It would have had this moment where you hit, right? Happened so much. Oh, it would have changed everything. But 2015 Kathryn, she couldn't have afforded what it was worth. She couldn't have done it, right? So I'm like, guys, listen, for baby Kathryn, I can't. And they're like, okay, what's the other reason? And I was like, one of the most beautiful things about design hacking, about knowing how to present stories that convert, is that you give good people with good movements inside of them, good products, good messages, the wheels to actually go. And I was like, if there was ever a time, hashtag 2020, God bless us all, right? That the world needed to be infused with good people and good causes and good products, it is literally now. Yeah. So they were like, okay, fine, we can do it for free. So I said, great guys, it's gonna be awesome. So, and again, I think that's just what I get so excited about, like with the things we do with our agency or like private clients, is like, these people that are struggling to get their stuff off the ground, they're not idiots. Yeah. They're not idiots, and their stuff is good. They just have no idea how to put it out into the world in a way that people will pick it up.
That's true.
And that's what we're doing with this next training next week. So 5-day training. It's going to be epic. It's designhacking.com/workshop. That's where you can register to be a part of it.
We're going to leave the links everywhere. So, if you're watching this video or if you're listening to the show, it's going to be on the notes. It's going to be on the comments. So go check it out. Definitely go click it because this is what you need. Yep. We'll be there for sure. 100%.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, day one, we're gonna go over like the Operation Smoke 'em Out. I'm actually gonna show you what that was, like what actually happened. And then day two, it's like, okay, cool. Now, how can we make your own game plan? So, what does it look like to present stories that convert in video? What does it look like to do that with a podcast? And like, what if you sell high ticket? What if you do affiliate? What if you're afraid in front of camera? We're gonna help you out with that.
That's
okay?
awesome.
Yes. Then day three, when you know how to present stories that convert to other people, you can use those same frameworks to present stories to yourself. So you stop actually shooting yourself in the foot and get out of your own way. We love that for us, right? Then day four, at this point, you're going to have made a beast, right? It's like we have a beast going. So we're going to need to talk about some systems and automations on the back end.
Yes,
so you
please.
Don't drown.
Yes, beautiful.
Yes. And then day five, and I think this is maybe the one I'm most excited about, is once you start to have this movement, how do you leverage that to big name people like a Russell Brunson, like a Myron Golden to come in and be like, what are you doing and can I be a part of it? Because that's really cool. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So again, come on down. Price is right. $0. It's designhacking.com/workshop. But again, for the intention that there are just too many people sitting. I think there are 3 people that should come to this. Number one, if there's any version of you that like has this thing inside of you where you're like, I'm going to lose it, right? Like, I don't know what's in me, but I can't make it go away. Whether you're yelling at a screen or whether you're sitting in the crowd looking at a stage saying, I should be up there.
Yes.
That's for you, right? Number 2, if you have a movement inside of you, you feel it, right? Where you're like, I have a message that I want to get out and turn to some figures. That's it. Or 3, if you're interested in becoming number 1 go-to expert in your niche, which means you get paid like number 1, your competitors become irrelevant, or you have a tribe of evangelists as followers. Oh my gosh, am I just going to take care of you next week?
Let's go.
It's actually going to be so fun. It's going to be awesome. So
it's going to be
come.
Beautiful. And I think for the audience and people watching and personally we've been there, right? Like we know how that feels. And this is a no-brainer, guys. $0. Do it. Thank God like you thought about baby Kathryn, because a lot of people, especially today in the months that we're living, with all this craziness happening around the world, solutions like this is what actually people need to actually go take action and execute and do these wonderful things. So yeah.
First, I want to take a deep breath because that was absolutely amazing. I mean, I gotta unbuckle up here because that was so many value bombs that you dropped. The storytelling was absolutely fantastic. I wish I had a bowl of popcorn right now because I enjoyed that so much. But yeah, I want to encourage everybody to go right now. I'm here at the landing page. It is 100% free. Just put your name and your email and just go and hang out with Kathryn next week on Monday, right? It starts on Monday?
Yes. Well, yeah, come hang out with me. It will be amazing.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And it's going to be awesome. We already have about like 2,000-ish people registered. Wow. We have a huge more push. So we're going to have a ton of people there.
That's
we're
awesome.
We're going to bring the house down. It's going to be epic. We have some really cool surprise guests coming that you're not going to be mad about.
That is so cool.
Just know it's the place to be. So come hang out with us.
Yes.
Designhacking.com/workshop.
Awesome. We'll leave the links in the descriptions, in the comments, everywhere. So you guys can go sign up. And I hope we see you guys on the other side. Kathryn, thank you so much. With that being said, guys, we're going to say bye-bye. And thank you for joining us on the Tropic Thunder Thursdays. There we go. And we're going to say bye, dancing a little bit.
Go right now, designhacking.com/workshop. You guys go right now and don't forget to sign up. We're going to see you on the other side.
Let's go.
Bye. See you Monday. Thanks, guys.
Hey. That was... no, ya no estamos live.
Se fue.
No, pero tú.
No, tampoco.
Oh.